Whoa, we are live. Okay.
Excuse my hair. I look so ghetto.
Same here. But you know what? We are quarantined, so we can do that. Um, this was clearly spontaneous and not announced in any way, shape, or form. So therefore, I'm going to plug this link in
Oh, hey.
to other places. Hey, hey, hey. Alright, so now it is on.
Oh, hey.
Hey, 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 that's my boy.
Mhm.
I like it. I'm dead serious.
I know. Lil don't like a lot of people.
That's not true. I love everybody. Hey, oh,
Who's that?
whoa, this is JoJo.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's my cousin, though. Don't worry, we going to start speaking
Sorry.
soon, but almost done. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, ready?
Mhm.
Cool. Well, I think that we good now. All right. So, what's up, everyone? I'm here with Jay Mills. You already know what it is. We are in the comfort of our home because, as of the time that we're making this video, there is a worldwide pandemic going on called the coronavirus. COVID-19, and it is it's like not a joke, but we're kind of like, a lot of people are making it a joke, and I mean, I'm kind of like laughing at some of the jokes that are out there, but there's a lot to be said about it, clearly, because everybody's saying a lot about it. And I just thought that I would throw in my 1.5 cents on whatever I'm thinking about it, how Jamila and I are approaching the situation right now, and stuff like that. So, of course, if you want, do you want to go first? Since she tends to have less to say than I do, and sometimes when I speak, then I feel like I probably take the things that you were already gonna say. So you can go first.
Dang, two people come and gone.
It's all good. That's fine.
What do I have to say? Wait. Is it?
Oh.
You done your mess. You done your mess. No.
That's right.
You done.
You done miase.
You done your mess.
Yeah, if you don't know what that means, go ask your fellow Ghanaian friends. Yeda
You done
miase.
your what?
Yeda miase.
You done your mess.
That's
Well,
right.
that kind of sounds like Jamaica. The way you just said it.
You mean patois? Well, patois is originated from Akan tree and English, so yeah, that makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
Jamaicans are derivatives from Ghanaians. There's a whole history behind it that we won't get into right now.
I mean, that's really mainly what I have to say,
Yeah, that name I said.
Just, stay clean and be sensitive and don't go out unless you have to. And if you do go out, make sure you stay more than, what is it, 6 feet away from people. And if you're in a building that already has 10 people, get
Get
out.
the crap out of there.
And pray for your health workers, your family and friends, especially the older ones. Um, and I don't know. I would like to say find creative and productive things to do during your day, but I don't do that, so I'm not gonna. But if if I'm being a hypocrite, that's also what I would say. And yeah, and I'm just waiting for this check
mm,
from Trump
mm.
and the government.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yes, that's true. If you got a little side hustle, I was also thinking that too.
Facts. You already know.
I was able to.
Coaching's up here. Coaching is up here if y'all need the coaching.
Oh yeah,
I already got me and my boy over there now. We already got something scheduled for tomorrow morning, so we're finally gonna make it happen.
I was able to actually sell a book. Which, if y'all want a book, let me know.
That's right.
Catch up on Denzel's YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
My YouTube videos.
Facts. If y'all want to know what her YouTube channel is, be sure to ask her. You know, and she'll gladly tell you. But you gotta ask her, or she won't tell you, and you won't find it on your
Well, I mean, I can tell you guys.
own.
I don't know where you would ask me.
I guess.
Um, yeah, so my YouTube is solely Mila, SOULYMILA, and I just suggest new music for people to listen to while you're quarantined, for example. And
She low key critiques it too. Like she'll tell it from her perspective how much she likes each album and why. And it's different types of music, so like it's not something that you think like, oh well, of course Jamila would listen to that. There's some of that, and there's also like, oh wow, I didn't know that she listened to that. She probably really doesn't actually listen to it, but she listened to it for the sake of you. So, but okay, so yeah,
thank you,
that's good.
Denzel, for your pitch.
No problem. So, um, my thoughts right now on this pandemic is, first of all, y'all know I love Antonia Dodge from Personality Hacker. I had to listen to their most recent podcast, and if you haven't listened to it yet, Staying Calm in a Crisis, I believe it's what it's called. At least listen to the first 3.5 minutes. At least listen to that. There's a special message on there. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but you guys should at least listen to that. And yeah, if you get the time, listen to the rest of it too. But one of the things that she did mention in the actual podcast was how I know Charis, but like it's the one of the people that they work for, Charis. She's an INFJ, and her NI is like future pacing how all of this is going to pan out, and what exactly is happening. And from what they said, she seemed pretty like pessimistic about it, which if I think of like my NI dominant friends, such as like David, for example, I could see me asking him right now, like, hey, so how do you think that this is gonna go? And he's just like, man, this is gonna happen. Hey, I'm just giving the facts, and so I can definitely see how that is. While with Antonia, she said that her NE, her and Joel, they're like more like optimistic. They're more like hopeful about how the future of everything is going to pan out. And to me, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm IEE in socionics. I don't know, but I relate more to Antonia and Joel's outlook on things. I actually believe I'm not. I don't feel pessimistic about this at all. The way that I'm approaching this, or I'm seeing this currently, is that there's a lot of bad things going on right now. People are dying worldwide. Bills are not getting paid. People are not getting paid. Because people are not getting paid, bills are not getting paid. Things are getting delayed. Interest is racking up. People are getting laid off. They started laying off people at my job just the other night. It was crazy.
What sounds like you just spitting bars. You said things are delayed, people not getting paid, and people getting laid.
That's
off.
right. Yeah, and people are getting laid too during this quarantine. So we're
That's
gonna have
true.
another baby boomer situation. Don't expect any from us. But,
Emergency.
yeah, that's not what's flying right now. But anyway, yes. All of that is going on. So these are really like horrible things. I'm not about to come here and Vanessa Hudgens, y'all. Like this is bad. This is like really bad stuff. However, I feel like in the midst of all of this bad, there are still silver linings that we can look at. And to look at a silver lining, in my opinion, does not mean that you ignore all of the bad that's going on. That's why I took the time to acknowledge all of the bad that's going on. Then that's exactly what you should do. You should acknowledge it. You should prepare for it. You should combat it the way that you should. But at the end of the day, don't forget to also look at and focus on the silver linings behind things after you've already done all of the above. And so I feel personally like there are a lot of things, even right now during the process, as it's hard, that are really good to look at. And then also, after all of this is through, I think there's going to be a lot of better things to come as well. And this is just my opinion, of course, so feel free to disagree. But I believe that, first of all, like we are all coming together as like a community of some sort. First, it seemed like we had like a smaller version of this with Kobe Bryant dying, and like everybody on Twitter and stuff like that, they were like all like hopping on. We were like collectively like mourning his death and everything. Like this is crazy. And now it seems like since the whole world is being hit by the COVID-19, hope I'm saying that right, coronavirus. Um, because of that, we are all now like collectively coming together in our social distancing on social media to talk, to share our ideas, to make each other laugh, to talk about how bored we are at the house and this, that, to share our opinions and, stuff like that. And I feel like it's in a way bringing us together. People who used to be so busy with work, now it's like they actually have time to like, kind of like relax even in this crisis, and yeah, like it sucks. Like we're not making money and stuff like that. Bills still need to get paid. Like it is what it is. But at the end of the day, also I think it's pretty dope that we're kind of all going through this together. And I think that really changes things. Like it's a whole different feeling when you. I've never been to concentration. Well, technically I have, but not in that way. Like it was like a exhibit. You know what I mean? When I went to Germany.
Oh,
So technically I have been to one.
no, but is
But
that the actual concentration camp? Or is
yeah.
that a museum of the concentration camp?
No, it was a concentration camp site. Yeah. So, but I was just speaking technically. But what I mean is that, if you, just God forbid, if you were in a concentration camp, if you are the only one that's going to be, put into it and everything, that's a whole different feeling than being with several other people being put into it. Like it's always different when you're going through something alone versus when you're going through something with together collectively with other people. And I think that because this is something that we are all going through together, I don't know, maybe my social repressed people, those of you who know instinctual variance and the Enneagram and everything, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe my social repressed people, they're like, no, like, I don't really like this, they probably don't relate. But for me, as a social dominant in the Enneagram, and as an FE dominant, I'm just all about this. Like, wow, look at us coming together, even under the worst of circumstances, and we're going through this together. And now we are able to better approach this, and we're better able to tackle it and all of that. And I feel like that's also a silver lining, in my opinion. On top of that, because we're all going through this together, then the government is being forced to have to do something. Like they have to send out checks to these people, to people. They have to do all of these different things, because if they don't, there's like a whole population of people that are suffering, and it's easy to overlook individuals. It is. It's the sad truth, but it is. But when we all are collectively going down, then that's where now the government, you said what, they've been pulling out like how many dollars? I don't know.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions of dollars just out of the wazoo, And Jamila had mentioned, she was like, it's crazy how like now all of a sudden like we're accessing this money, and a lot of people online are saying the same thing. And I'm gonna be the first one to tell you right now, I don't know too much about politics, if anything about politics, besides what my ESTJ, what my ESTJ father-in-law be telling me. Personally, I'm hoping it creates a better sense of community in the USA. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the biggest things.
How you doing?
Yeah. Hi Daniel, how you doing? But yeah, like seriously, that's one of the biggest things I've been seeing, that like, since we're going through this together, and again, like everybody on Twitter, they've been like saying like, oh, so now all this money is coming up out of nowhere and everything. And that is funny, but I guess I'm also seeing it as like, we're already in debt, and so whatever money that we had, we were trying to like push it towards that debt. But now, because the whole US is going through whatever it's going through, then they're like, hey, this is a necessary sacrifice. We might go even deeper into debt, but we have to put all of that into hold, and let's outsource the money in this direction instead. Since this disappears really quickly, the government is going to do anything. They're using the coronavirus to distract. I don't know why they disappear so quickly. Oh, there we go. The government is going to do anything. They're using the coronavirus to distract citizens from knowing that the House are. Why does it disappear? I couldn't get to that. I'm going to open up my laptop in a moment to actually keep up with all of the comments, because on my iPad they disappear very quickly. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things that like I've been thinking about, like especially like Daniel hit it on the head. Like I feel like this is something that's again bringing us closer as a nation. We have a common enemy, and it's not even just a nation. It's like every other place in the world now. Like we all have this common enemy. Like this is the Thanos of our year. And it's like, yo, forget whatever wars that we have with each other, forget whatever instances that whatever it might be, we got Thanos out here trying to kill the old and the super young. And so that's like, that's something that I've been like really paying attention to.
He said the government isn't going to do anything. They are using the coronavirus to distract citizens from knowing what the House are trying to pass bills that will decrease privacy, which is wrong. The millions of dollars are just a front to think that they're donating money, but they really aren't. They're only giving it to a select few of citizens. The government doesn't care about people.
You could be right, because again, I don't really know much about politics. I only know kind of what they tell us. So you could be right. I mean, I guess we won't know until we receive or don't receive that check. But I'm hoping, I would like to think that as much as, politics, they lie about stuff like that, this is something they wouldn't lie about. I'm hoping so, but, again, you could be right about that. But yeah, I also see it as, first of all these biblical things that are going on. Again, personally, I'm a strong Christian. We even are wearing like faith-based hoodies right now. Troubles won't last always, and that's facts. Like that's biblical, everything. So we are both strong Christians. But like honestly, I don't think I know enough about Revelations and the apocalypse, or at least I think I do actually, but I feel like this is not part of it. Like I feel like those who are finding anything in the Bible right now to like attribute like, oh, like this is, God is angry with us and stuff like that. Personally, I don't really think that that's the case, especially since God said that when he had the whole thing with like Noah's Ark and everything, he promised with the rainbow in the sky that he would not destroy the world in such a manner anymore. And so I feel like those putting out like biblical references and stuff from Revelations, and saying that, oh, God is angry, and once we repent then we will be forgiven. I don't think that this has much, if anything, to do with that. But again, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I don't have enough information. I don't know. This is just video of me putting out my thoughts and opinions. If you have anything different, then you can respectfully let me know, and I will consider your opinion. But I just wanted to put that out there that personally, if you ask Denzel Mensah, I don't really think that this is very like apocalyptic. Do you think anything of that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, there you go. Jamila also says the same thing. I do, however, believe that the earth itself is alive, and I believe that in a way, don't let me get canceled for this, but I feel like it's low key cleansing itself. And I'm trying to find a way to put it into words, but I feel like, again, let me not deny, let me make this very clear. This is horrible. It is horrible that people are dying. It's horrible. This is very sad. It's tragic. People are being laid off and all of that. But also, I feel like this is, in a way, the world's maybe like self-cleansing of, trying to control population of some sort. Like, it is interesting how it's like only like the older, almost like a survival of the fittest kind of thing. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying that that's right. This is just a thought. Like, it's just an observation. Like, I wonder if this is what the earth in and of itself is doing. Where it's like, okay, these older people that are like, already having problems and stuff like that. Again, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's good. Whatever. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, we'll forget about them. I'm just saying like, maybe that I'm just providing something that could be an explanation, something that I'm toying with in my head. So again, that's another thought. But another thing that I was thinking about throughout this whole situation is people's obsession with isolation being unhealthy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I feel like social distancing, yes, this is great. This is good. We should be avoiding allowing any of us who are potential carriers of the virus to allow that to spread to several more people, because those who may actually be harmed by that virus, they might not be able to receive medical attention, or at least medical attention on time. They might die, and you might be the reason for that, whether inadvertently or just straight up because you were being reckless with your social distancing. So yeah, it's good that we're social distancing and all of that. I agree with this move. However, y'all, y'all being so hyped to like be away from people and isolated from people and stuff like that, that's, I feel like y'all are hyping it like OD. Like, this is not this that's not how we're supposed to operate as humans, whether you're an extrovert or an introvert. Like, I feel like you need people. Now it's different for those of you who are saying like, okay, well, I haven't had alone time in a while, and I kind of like need this break and this like all of that just to like retreat just for a little bit. That's different. Everybody needs alone time, whether you're an extrovert or an introvert. You need alone time, but you just as equally also need to be around people, especially for me. Like, from a biblical standpoint, I believe that we were all created for relationships. Like, we were created to have a relationship with God. We were created to have a relationship with each other. And so to kind of like have this hype about being isolated from people and not having to build into your relationships with them and stuff like that, I think that's a little bit I saw a tweet yesterday where it's saying like, I can't imagine having like as a robotic type of heart as many of you seem to. And this was from an introvert herself. This was from an INTP. I'm gonna find it. She said, Jesus Christ, I can't imagine having the immensely low expectations for human connection that some of you have. Reevaluate yourselves. We're not supposed to just be robotic automatons. A big word. But yeah, like, y'all getting so excited about, oh, thankfully I don't have to deal with humans anymore. Like, I feel like that's a lot, you know. So this has definitely been eye opening, and it's also been eye opening too to see the selfishness of people come out during this time. Like, guys, toilet paper? Are we dead serious right now? Like we're just like raiding all the stores and everything, and like we're not thinking of other people. You know, we're just completely like overstocking and overbulking for ourselves. And I can understand it. You know, my boy David, he actually made like a little image. Thought that was pretty funny. He's an animator, but I put that with a thread that I made back in February 11th. I said, I understand that it could be looked at as naive and foolish in today's society, but I don't know. I'm just such a huge advocate for selflessness, a strong believer that if we set the example of properly doing for others and giving eventually, it may be reciprocated. The constant thing I notice is every single day is people seeming to, understandably, only look out for themselves, making sure they are more detached slash less vulnerable than others. They get the first serving before others, toilet paper, even focusing on getting their own orgasm before another. This is understandable because in a world where most people are mainly thinking about how to get what they want and negligent about what others they may even love want. This breeds even more of those same people because it's a survival tool. But I still long and wish for more reciprocity in society. Selflessness and thoughtfulness, empathy and compassion that extends beyond self-serving and to being intentional about assisting others. If Even if this may sometimes come before you getting yours, depending on circumstance. Please don't get it twisted. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with putting your oxygen mask on first before helping others. I actually even recommend that. But I do personally think it's a problem to not even consider others afterwards and only focus on your protection. So, yeah, again, a world where everyone unanimously believes in scratching one another's back would hopefully have no one left to have to scratch their own. A well knit team and society that looks out for one another and stands for one as a unit, that's my utopia. So yeah, all that being said, I feel like this pandemic is like really showing us who we are as a human race, and this is good. I mean, a lot of bad things are happening, so this is bad, but there's good things to come out of it because at the end of the day, everything is still going to be all right. That's what I believe. I remember January 1st, I personally took a lot of time to pray, and I prayed with Jamila. And one of the prayers that we prayed was that literally every single thing in 2020, we just committed it into God's hands. That's our finances. That's even tables that I would serve like down to every single table. All the relationships that we build, all the relationships that we lose. You know, every decision that we make. You know, everything just be in God's hands. And I firmly, personally have a lot of faith that God not only knows what's best for us, but He wants what's best for us, especially once we commit these things into His hands. And so, even when things look bad and things look bleak, as they have many times in other people's lives, including my own, at the end of the day, God allows a lot of good to come from it. And I always use the example of Joseph in the Bible. If you haven't read his story, you really should. I think it's a perfect example. Even Daniel's story, you should read that. Like there's a lot of horrible things that happen in people's lives that ends up for the good at the end of the day, and you just have to have a focus on the bigger picture and trust the process, as I would say. And so, personally, am I worried? Yes. Like I'm thinking about a lot of different things. Like I said, we don't have like income coming in right now because of work laying off people and stuff like that. So it really sucks, and we have like bills that we still need to pay that are probably like gathering interest and everything. It's really crazy. Yeah, that's something worth worrying about. But am I stressed? Nah, because at the end of the day, we're all doing this together. I do believe that God knows what's best and wants what's best, and He's holding us. We're praying through it. He sees what we're going through, and He's going to intervene. He's never too late. And okay. All right, are we back? I think we are. I don't know what happened with the internet just now. But yeah, long story short, I think that yeah, there's no reason to really fear anything that's really going on right now. At least in the long term, I do believe that a lot of good will come out of all of this, and so that's what, at least for me and Jamila, like we know we're trusting in that, and we're not really stressing about all of it. Everything will turn out well. But in this time, I just ask that we continue to be thoughtful of one another. That go ahead and be. It's all right to enjoy your alone time and everything, but don't get too excited and attached to it, and forget about other people and become like negligent. And also don't allow yourself to overstress about the situation, and don't understress it either. Like this is a pretty serious issue. Um, Hopefully this will draw people closer to each other. And yeah, I agree. Like I really hope that this will allow us again, just like what Daniel said earlier, to come together as a nation and be more considerate of one another, because I feel like a lot of like we would have been way more prepared for something like this happening if we were more considerate of one another. You know, it's almost like when you do fire drills and stuff at high school. If everyone starts freaking out at once, then we know that like more people are gonna get trampled, more people will die, not like from being trampled and stuff, than from the actual fire, you know. And I think that that's kind of like what's happening right now. Like more people will probably die, probably like from starvation and you know lack of toilet paper. I don't know, or like no diapers, whatever, because people freaked out and they didn't follow the procedures of the fire drill. Instead, they just kind of like did whatever they. I need to get them out of here, you know. And it's like you from when you're doing that, you're only thinking of yourself, you know, and then you're not allowing everybody to be able to cohesively move as a unit. But when we move as a unit, then we're able to better tackle things. And so hopefully this will be eye opening. It's like a mirror so that we can see, oh, look at how bad things went. So like next time when this thing comes, leave us your questions, comments, concerns. I don't know. Just felt like posting about it, and just if anybody had any idea what I was thinking about stuff, then oh, there you go. And if Jamila had anything. Do you have anything else to mention?
No.
All right. Well, yeah. Done.